Hello and welcome back to the Full Court Press. Jason Walker with Eric Frandsen. Glad to have you on. And one of the things we always love to have is to have a chance to talk with local state champions of high school sports. Well, heck, we even talk to world champions at times from around here.
That's true. It's happened.
But we have another state champion, head coach, the girls tennis coach for Green Canyon High School, and also the boys tennis coach, Camille Jeppson. The Green Canyon girls team just won their third straight state title, if I'm not mistaken.
That is correct, yes.
So it's
pretty exciting.
No, I had a chance to talk to you last year when you went back-to-back, ended up writing a feature for Cache Valley Daily, and got you back on, have a chance to talk to you again after another successful season. So very nice to have you on.
Thank you.
So it's just, let's start with that. 3 times, at least for you, state champion as a coach. I guess just what's that like? Whereas I guess you're suffering from success. Like, what are we at here?
It's a little unbelievable, really, for us thinking about it. Even when we got our first win, we were completely shocked that we got that first state championship, and by such a huge margin that first year, and then to do it again the second year, another huge margin to win the state championship. And then to get it a third time, I really, we as a coaching staff weren't expecting, we weren't like thinking we could do it for sure. We knew this year was going to be much tougher with the double in size, the class of 4A doubled in size. And so we knew we would really have to work hard and get a lot of good competition leading up to the state tournament.
So just tell us about that margin, because you mentioned it was huge margins those first couple of years. I mean, you would go into the final championship rounds knowing you'd already won the title.
Yes.
This year, I believe the final point tally was something like 52 for you guys and like 48 for Orem. So,
yes.
Like, how close was that? Were you pretty comfortably going to win it going into those finals?
No. We went into the second day with all of our players into the semis, but Orem also had all of their players in the semis. We weren't playing them in all our events like we did like in previous years, so we were able to knock off other teams. But this year, where we only played them in, I believe, just 2 of the 5, maybe 3 of the 5 rounds, and so it was much, much closer. Going into our final match, we were down by 1 point to Orem, but we weren't playing Orem. So pretty much, if we won, we win. If we lose, Orem wins. So it depended on that. But we weren't looking at that closely because we knew it was so close. I was more just focusing on the girls and getting them as far into the tournament as we could, wanting them just to play their absolute best that they could, which would make the difference in the end. And that's what it did.
So when it comes to winning a state title as a team in tennis, it's interesting that, like, as a sport, and maybe to describe this for me and for others who maybe not understand how the scoring really works like that, because in football, for example, or basketball, you see the team together competing together in their sport. Tennis, it's a bunch of individuals,
right?
But how they do collectively makes a big difference. Obviously, you've got some doubles and you've got some team aspect there, but it's not just how one player performs; it's how everybody performs.
Yes, it's definitely a team effort to win, but it is by individual. So for each round you win, you get 1 point. So if you win your first round, you get 1 point as an individual, but that 1 point goes towards your team total. But then you also advance as an individual in your own bracket. And then if you win your second round, you get 2 points towards the team total. And then the third round, 3 points, 4 points, and so on. So there's a total you can get 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5 if you win the title in that final round. So it was close going into it.
So it's possible, conceivable, to have an individual tennis player play through and win their individual bracket, if you will.
Yes.
But the team not necessarily win state.
Right. There's 5 events. So even if just one team wins, or one player wins their event, that's definitely not enough. You definitely have to have your whole team advancing together, especially where we have such good players now, especially in our 4A class.
So you guys had two, I guess I should say three champions, because you had one first doubles. You had a championship there, right? Or was I looking at the wrong result? I'm trying to think. I was trying to look this up.
Yes, first doubles.
So it was Carly Nielsen, Liz Murray, right?
Yes.
And then third singles, Macy Hewish.
Yes.
You got that right? And then
And she won.
Tori Jeppson, your daughter, she was a runner-up in
Yes.
second singles.
Yes.
So several players in the championship. Get a couple of champions. I guess three champions with one being doubles. So, good little return there.
Yes, getting those three into the championship brackets, those championship rounds made a big difference in our score. Tori played a really tough match at that second singles. Her opponent was really, really good. Tori had a few chances to pull away and just couldn't do it. And then our first doubles actually played Crimson Cliffs in the final, played them down in St. George at an invitational, beat them in a tiebreaker their first time, and then had to play them again the next day and lost badly the next day to Crimson. So then to come back and play them in the championship at the state tournament and to beat them soundly in that second set it was so great. It was so great. And Macy Hewish at third singles, she just went crazy the whole season. Just stormed all the way through, every one of her matches. Skyridge, the 6A school, did give her a run. The three times that she did have to play Skyridge, she's a very good player at Skyridge, and beat Macy in those. But Macy had no troubles with any of her other opponents. She's just such a steady player, especially at that third singles position. That's what that takes.
So you've kind of been talking about another question that I had here, and that is you've said third singles. There's first singles, second singles. And similarly with doubles as well. Is that
Yes.
correct?
Mm-hmm.
So what's the difference between first singles through third singles and et cetera like that? Is it just your better players are in your first and your next group or in your second? How does that classification work?
Yes, that's how the singles will stack up. Your best player plays one, then your next best would play two. But at the same time, you can have your best player play first doubles as well. As long as your best player is at one of the number one positions, you can do that. But then for doubles, it's all about chemistry and movement together and, getting along on the court and communication on the court. So those doubles teams, they work hard together to learn each other's moves and tactics and just being able to feel what the other one is feeling and just being able to get along on the court. The singles players, it starts with probably our most consistent, most powerful, and Bailey. Bailey's definitely our number one. She won state as a freshman, played great and is still playing really good tennis. So yeah, that's how the lineup goes.
So tell me about from last year you win the title to this year. What were some of the players you replaced? I know some of them came back. I think several come back. I know Tori. I think she played doubles last year, didn't she?
Yes, Tori played first doubles last year with Olivia Phillips, who was a senior. So we had a senior and a freshman last year together at that first double spot. But their chemistry was just so on. They played really well together. Just two really strong players playing together. And then so then we lost Olivia Phillips this year. So, had to create a new doubles team there. So we actually pulled our two singles players from last year and put them into our two doubles positions this year. And it was questionable in the beginning, but it definitely worked. And then at second doubles, we lost Marin McKenna, who was just a very strong leader on the court, who played with Carly Nielsen. And then we bumped Carly up to first doubles. And, she just got better and better as the year progressed. And just her and Liz, they just really clicked as the season went. So.
Yeah, we're talking to Camille Jeppson. She is the head coach for the Green Canyon girls tennis team. Multiple state championships under your belt. So what does that take to do that? I know you've got some talented players that come back, as you've just been talking about, that have experienced that. They know what it takes for the dedication, the hard work in the off season to come together and do another tough run, but you always have to develop new players coming in. So what's that process been like for Green Canyon, kind of developing this string of successes?
Tennis is a sport where you pretty much have to develop on your own in the off season. So our players do a lot of training in the off season. I know Bailey travels extensively to tournaments all over the place to just up her game. Tori Macy, the twins, they were always playing year round to just get better and better, more consistent. So it's an ongoing process that you can't work out as a team year round because it is such an individual sport as well. But at the same time, they got to be playing doubles just in case they're playing doubles. And they don't know who they're going to be playing doubles with. So as long as they are practicing doubles, you can adapt to new partners, whoever you need to play with. So it's a lot of work in the off season. I know Tori does a lot of work in the off season, just being her mom. So,
so I want to ask you about coaching, specifically, at the state championships. What's that like? Running from match to match, coaching all the players. Coaching your daughters, getting all the way to the championship game. Like, what's running around and trying to coach like for you?
I have a phenomenal coaching staff. I also, I've coached with John Mickelson. Since we started Green Canyon, boys and girls. And then Holly Hickman is also with us. She's been one of the coaches as well. We've kind of traded off being the head coach between the three of us. We kind of just rotate in a circle. And then we also brought on Ben Hubner, who just knows so much about all the players because Bailey, his daughter, has played them all. So he knows who do we need to watch out for, how we need to work, what the strengths are, weaknesses are, what we can expose. So he was really great and just a new face on the court for us. So it was great having him there as well. And a lot of the girls can relate better with certain coaches. So that was, between the four of us, we pretty much had everybody covered. So that was really nice. I really appreciate them and all they did.
So you have to draw straws when it comes down to those final few brackets, who's going where?
It's pretty easy. It's like, Ben, you've got her. John, you've got them. Holly, them. So it was.
Because you've already kind of been aligned as the season has gone on.
Yep, and they're great. They'll go wherever I tell them to, which is great.
So I guess at the state tournament, it being pretty close. I guess tell me about the moment. You knew you won because like last year it was like you went home after before the last day. And he's like, we're already champions.
Oh, I went home. Holly and I went to the hotel and dyed our hair pink. We were good. We were ready to go. But
yeah, this year I imagine it took a little bit further into championship day.
It was the last match that was on the court, and it was the first doubles team. So it was Carly and Liz, and they didn't know it was coming down to the winner of that match, and we weren't going to tell them, and. So, John was coaching them, and it was they had a really close first set, barely pulled it out in the tiebreaker, and then that second set, they just felt it and just played so clean and confident, went for balls that they knew they could get, just really stretched themselves to play their absolute best. And so as soon as that match point was over, they went and shook hands, and I could hear the girls kind of behind me, can we go yet? Can we go? And then finally I said, yep, go. And they just stormed them out there. And you could see, I have a picture when the other girls told Carly and Liz that because of them we won. And their faces are just lit up. So it was pretty exciting. So,
that's awesome.
Yeah.
So what sometimes coaches and players, they get together, parents and other support staff, do something to celebrate. Did you guys have a moment to celebrate and let it soak in or be with other people? Or is it just... good job, and now it's on to the next.
We're always celebrating. We have a great group of parents that support this team all the way through, from varsity, JV, practice squad. We've got some really supportive parents. So with every tournament we went to this year, we played in some really good tournaments where we played the 6As and the 5As leading up to state. We didn't win them all, but we got some really good competition, and they were all so supportive of those. It's right when that match ends, we're all just getting goosebumps, everywhere, like, 'cause everybody stays to watch and support. So it's always a fun night, after we win.
So you're gonna have to gather with all the other, Green Canyon coaches, because you got, girls soccer winning, volleyball, they are runner-up. I mean, football's still alive. You're gonna have to get together and celebrate some Green Canyon dominance over fall sports.
We've realized that all the girls teams won region from Green Canyon this year.
That's true.
Yeah, so it was pretty exciting just to think about that and how we're coming along. So these boys better.
The boys got to keep it up.
We got to get these boys ready.
The boys soccer team kept up. They won their title last year.
They did. And so lacrosse, lacrosse did as well.
We'll figure that. So I guess just we've talked about how you've developed a program so far. I guess you pull it off again. That's always the question. Can you do it next year? The answer so far has been yes for 3 years, but I don't know what's the future hold for the program.
So far, I lose 4 seniors this year. And so 3 were on varsity, so that'll definitely hurt. I do have some up and comings that are right there. They're really solid players. They play a lot. They know there's a chance for them to move into these spots, so they are working hard. So it'll be tough. It'll be tougher because they're young. So it'll be fun to see.
Well, Coach, thank you so much for spending some time with us. Congratulations once again.
Thank you.
It's always exciting and exhilarating to win those. Oh, I was just going to ask you, we had the chance to ask this of another Green Canyon coach who was in here with us recently, just that experience of coaching your own child through this experience. You have to be a good coach, but you're also a parent. So how do you balance that? How challenging is that for you?
It's tough because you want them to be their absolute best, and you know what they have in them and how far they can go, and so but you do have to watch yourself at the same time. But you still push them, and you use your assistants to help push them, and that makes a big difference. But it's so rewarding when it's your kids out there, performing so well, and I got one in the boys again too, so we'll keep going there.
Always parent,
That's
always
awesome.
coach.
That's
Yes,
right. That's
yes.
right.
All right, Green Canyon girls tennis coach and boys tennis coach, Camille Jeppson. Glad to have you on.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to go ahead and go to break. We'll be back after this on the Full Court Press.